Welcome back. I'm glad to see you today. Thought today we'd do a fantastic little painting. It's a lot of fun. I think you'll enjoy it. And let's start off and have them graphically run all the colors across the screen that you need to do the painting that I'm going to do up here today. And they'll come across your screen starting with the titanium white and working around in the same order that I have them on my palette. Now if you already have a way to set your palette up, don't change it just because I have mine. But try to set your palette up the same way each time so you don't have to waste a lot of time looking for color. You always know where it's at. So let's get started. I've already covered the canvas with a thin, even coat of magic white. It's wet, slick, and ready to go. Start with a little bit of Prussian blue, and I'm just going to work that into the brush. And maybe today we'll make some little streaky clouds. And I'm going to just start making little crisscross strokes, sort of like that. And we'll just let them go back. Now I want them to be darker up here than back there, so start at the top and work downward. And maybe there's one right there. And I'm just sort of going back and forth. Keep it a little bit darker in color than you want it to be when you're finished, because we're going to blend a lot and it will lighten in value. And maybe there's another one wherever, just drop them in. Maybe we'll do a little farm scene today. We film in Indiana, which is a beautiful, beautiful state and has a lot of farms, and so maybe we'll do a happy little farm scene. Okay, now we've got the color on the canvas. A little darker right there. There. Okay, now I'm going to wash my brush. And once again, we wash our brushes with odorless thinner, paint thinner. Shake off the excess. And then just beat the devil out of them. Now then, I'm going to go right into titanium white. Titanium white. I'll tell you what, let's put the least little touch of permanent red into it, just so it has a slight pinkish glow. Load the brush full of paint. Okay, let's go up to the canvas here. And in between these areas now, I'm going to begin just doing this with a little color, so it overlaps the dark. Okay, a little more of the color. Maybe there's a little in here. Like so. A little right in there maybe. Not a whole bunch. Okay, now I'm going to begin blending all this together. Just like that. Just blend it together. Make all kinds of beautiful little things happen. Maybe there's a little white right there. Wherever you want it. You can even take your brush and put a few little swirly patterns here and there, just to separate things, blend it out. Skies. Oh, there's as many different skies as there are people to look at them and paint them. There's really no absolute set way to make a sky. There we go. All kinds of little things happening. Maybe we'll put a little white right up in here. There we go. Okay, now we'll just blend out the brush strokes. And that gives us a very quick, simple little sky. Easy to do and very effective. Okay, I'll clean that old brush one more time and we can get started. Now if we're going to do an old barn, maybe we'll do a couple of buildings today. Buildings are always a lot of fun, and they bring a lot of joy to your heart. Let's start out. Maybe there's a small building back here. And we'll start with some Van Dyke brown, a little roll of paint on the knife. And let's go right up here. Maybe there's a happy little building right here, a little shed or something. We'll put it in first, and then we'll come back and do a big old barn. One of my best friends was telling me about a saying they have here in Indiana. They talk about the barn built the house, and I didn't understand that at first. And you can look at the size of the house in the barn and see how well the old farmer is doing. If he's doing real well, then he's got a big barn, a big house. Okay, now we need some. Put a front on that old building. This is just Van Dyke brown. And all you're doing is just laying in base color right now. You could really care less. This is strictly just base color, and then we'll come back and begin adding detail. Okay, now then, we got to make some decisions, some big decisions. Take Van Dyke Brown, and we'll put some permanent red into it, like so, and just blend that together. Now, cut across it, and let's go right up here, and we'll just put, this is old wood. I like old wood. Very rarely do I paint new buildings. I like old buildings. Now this is where you begin making all those decisions and bringing all this together. You also have to decide, where's your light coming from? Where's your light coming from in your world? Maybe today we'll have it coming from the left, so the front of the buildings will be lit. So I'm going to take the same color, add a little white to it, maybe a little bit of yellow ochre. So now we've got Van Dyke Brown, a little yellow ochre, a little white, and a little permanent red. Let's go back up here. Now touch very lightly, very lightly. Oh, very lightly, just barely caressing the canvas. And that's enough. That's enough. Now I'm going to take some blue and Prussian blue and Van Dyke Brown, mix those together, make a very dark color. Should look black. And right under this eave here, I want a little bit of dark. And under this eave, a little dark. And you just barely lay this on, like so. And I'll just take a clean knife and touch that and lightly pull down. And it creates a shadow under these overhangs. That easy. Okay. Now we need some roof up here. We'll use Van Dyke Brown, permanent red. Let's go right up here. And we'll just start over in that eave. And maybe come over on this eave. Just sort of outline it a little bit. Okay? Yeah. All I'm going to do here is just sort of touch, let the paint be pulled off onto the canvas. Canvas will pull off what it wants, give you back what's left. There we go. Old roof. There's shingles missing and shingles broke. It's like me, it's had a hard life. There, okay. Now we need a door in this building. There we go, just come across, maybe it's like that. This is just the dark color. We don't care what color it is as long as it's dark. Maybe this building was made out of boards. So I'll just take a small amount of white, cut across it, and we'll put some indication of some little boards here and there. This is your building, so you have to make these decisions. And just a few little indications over here. I don't want too many over here. Just like so. And a little bit around the door where the light's striking, make it stand out. Yeah, that's simple. We got a happy little building. Now then, I'm going to mix up Van Dyke Brown, permanent red, and Prussian blue. And we'll just mix them all together here. And we're going to use quite a bit of this, so I'll mix up a pretty good sized pile. There we go. Just like that. All right. And I wipe my knife here on just paper towels or clean rag, whatever you have. I would take this whole brush and we'll begin dropping in what'll end up being some nice little grassy areas. Maybe they're not taking too good a care of this old barn. It's an old barn. The weeds are beginning to sneak in there and take it. There we go. All we're doing is just dropping in some dark color so our lights will show when we come back and put light color in there. And that mixes with the magic white and automatically it gets lighter in value. Okay. Now, a lot of times as I drive around here in Indiana, I see old barns and they have, I don't really know what they are, but they have sticks or poles that sort of project up. Maybe there's one in right there. This is where they hook their antennas so they can pick up our show. A little bit of highlight. Now we said the light was coming from the left, so it'll be on that side. There we go. And that's just a little brown and white. We'll put the least little bit right there, like that. Okay, let's have a big old barn. Now, a lot of times it really helps if you come up here and you sort of scrape out a basic shape. Maybe the old barn, the top of it's here, and it comes down. It's got a bend. Here, bends, and comes over here. This is a super easy way to lay out your basic shape. It also will help you to remove this excess paint, especially if that paint's thin, because we're going to put a thick color over the top of it. Okay, tell you what, let's get crazy. Maybe it comes over here and comes right in front of that one a little bit. That'll help push that one back. All right, what color do we want the roof? Let's use some brown and some white. We'll put a little bit of blue into that. And we'll lighten that down into a couple of values. There we go. Very nice. Let's go up here. Let's start up here on the roof. Now, when you're doing buildings, when you're looking at a three-quarter view, and it's a three-quarter view if you can see the front and the side of the building. That's a three-quarter view. One of the big things to remember, the back of this building has to be a little tiny bit lower than the front. That's so important, and it's one of the easiest things to overlook. Try to remember that. People will look at your painting and they might not understand what's wrong, but they'll say something's wrong with that painting, and they may not understand what, but their mind will tell them something's wrong with it. And that's usually all it is that little angle. And it's such a simple little thing that we have a tendency to overlook it sometimes. Okay? Now, right here, it bends. It's a big old bend in the roof, and it comes down like that. Just let it go down. Angles are very, very important. There we go. Just like so. Okay, now then, let's pick up some of this brown that we made. This is Van Dyke brown, permanent red, little Prussian blue. And let's begin putting in some overhangs. Barns need overhangs too. There. See, so the cow has a place to stand when it's raining so he won't get wet. There we go. Bring us right on down. And here, once again, all we're doing now is just laying in dark color. You need the dark in order for the light to show. You need the dark. Painting is a great deal like life. You need a little dark in your life so that you know when the good stuff happens. There. And we've all had that, and we'll all continue to have it. That's what makes it all worthwhile. And the very fact that you're aware of it is enough reason to be overjoyed that you're alive and can experience it. Just think, if you were a stone, you'd never get to enjoy anything. We're so fortunate. There. Well, we're building us a fantastic barn here. Big old barn. There. Now we need to put some highlights in this barn. Permanent red, and right into some Van Dyke brown. We'll make this a nice reddish color brown. We'll do a red-looking barn here. Touch, very lightly, very lightly. Caress the canvas. Caress it. There we go. Just caress it. Okay, now over here, this side's going to be darker, so we can use the same color and add more brown to it. Brown is your duller. It makes colors much duller. Okay, now then, touch and just pull down. Let the paint break. Just let it break. break. Look at there. It looks like old wood already, and you haven't hardly done a thing. It's unbelievable what you can do. Now then, just like in the other one, we need some shadows. So I'll use a little bit of this dark, that was Prussian blue, and Van Dyke brown. Just like so. Just lay it on first. Might mix up a little more. Prussian blue and Van Dyke brown. And right into this overhang here. We need that dark. It sort of sets everything off. It makes it look so much better. Now, clean my knife, touch, just pull it down a little bit. Don't want to kill it all. There. Now maybe there's right across here. We'll touch again with the dark color, and I'm going to grab that and pull down. Just pull straight down. So it looks like there's a division there. Now we'll go right into a little bit of light color, and we'll put some happy little boards right in there. And all I'm doing is just cutting right through. A little bit of color on the knife, just to give an indication of some old barn boards. If you can find an old barn in your neighborhood that the farmer didn't want anymore, these old boards make some of the most beautiful, beautiful picture frames you've ever seen. Try it. And they're easy to make. Okay, now we need a place up here so that the old farmer could pull his hay up, put it up in there. Okay, and right here we'll have a big door. This is just blue and brown, just a dark color. Big door, big door. And then around the edge of the door, a little bit of light strikes. Makes that door stand out. We'll put a little bit right around here too, just to make it stand out a little. Okay, we'll have some little indication of some boards here. Don't want it to be left out. There we go. Just drop them in. There. Now, if this doesn't stand apart enough, take a little dark color, because there needs to be a division between the front and the side. Take a little dark color and put in there. There. And that'll help separate it. Just like so. Okay. I think we're ready to play a little more now. Maybe we'll put some nice little grassy areas right along here. And I'm just tapping with this 2.5-inch brush. This is where you straighten out the bottom of your barn and decide where everything's going to be. There we go. Just let it go. And really, you could put this on with a paint roller. It really makes no difference. All we're doing here is just applying dark color. There. Just need some dark color. Heck, we'll just go into some sap green. Just add a little sap green to that. Even a touch of crimson, alizarin crimson. Because when you put sap green and alizarin crimson together, it makes a beautiful, beautiful, rich brown color. So we're still working in brown tones. But by mixing on the brush and on the canvas, we're going to have some nice effects here when we get done. All right. Now, no farm's complete without some fences. So let's build some fences. We'll start with some of this brown color made from the permanent red, the Van Dyke brown, and the Prussian blue. Prussian blue. It's almost a tendency to say Persian blue. But that was my kitty cat. Okay. Put a little fence right here. Maybe there's one here. I tell you what I want to do. I want to put a little grass back here if I do all that. So we'll take a little yellow, a little sap green. Because if I put that fence in first, then it's going to be hard to sneak that grassy area back in there. Now I'm just using a little Indian yellow, yellow ochre. Just mix them on the brush. Let all these little colors happen. Not too much color in between. It's a big shadow in there. Just a little indication of some color. There we go. Out here. Look at that. Look at that. Right along the barn here. A few little weeds are beginning to grow up the side. He's like me. He don't cut his lawn enough. And I'm the world's worst lawn keeper. I'm ashamed to tell you that. Okay, a little bit of the happy little grassy areas right out through here. And wherever. There we go. Now you don't want to kill all this dark, because there's probably been a lot of cows and horses walking around here, and they sort of tromped all this down, and there's a lot of dead grass in here. If you were stepped on by a horse, you'd be brown too. They hurt. When I was a little boy, I had a horse step on my foot one time, and oh, you don't realize how much they weigh until they step on you. Okay, now we can put our fence in. There it comes, maybe here. And let's play some games today. Maybe this fence goes up there and then over. I'm just doing this so you can see how you make a fence move all around. Da-da-da-da-da. Be brave, be brave. Drop them in, drop them in. Maybe it comes right down like that. Okay, let's put one more little one right there so it goes right on out of sight. Now we need to highlight these. So I'll take some white and a little bit of light brown, and all I'm going to do is just touch. Just touch. So you have a little bit of highlight on these posts. Do 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 do. There we are. Now we need some rails. So we'll just use the same old brown color, and all I'm going to do is just touch. And this old farmer, he's like me. He just picked up whatever happened to be laying around, and he made him a fence out of it. Now here we want it to go uphill. See? Bloop, bloop. See how you can bend fences right around your painting? And fences help add a lot of depth and a lot of perspective to your painting. Use them. And they're fun, they're easy. And of course we're not interested in those happy bucks, but if you ever want to sell a painting, fence adds a lot of interest. Okay, maybe tell you what, maybe there was a little fence right over here. So just a quick little indication like that. And in here, I'm just going to rub. Let's let that color rub so it looks like a little path. And we're just mixing all the colors on the canvas. Maybe this was where the horsey lived right here, and so the fence comes right on up, and you just let your fence go wherever you want it to go. But as it gets closer to you, it needs to get bigger, and these posts need to get a little bit farther apart, and just let them get closer and bigger and stronger. That's where this old knife is so fantastic. It really makes beautiful, beautiful fences. Okay, little highlight on these fences. Bloop, bloop, bloop. I'm just using a little brown and white, touch of blue in it. Just barely, barely touching. And don't want to cover up all the dark. Just a little. Now, while I've got that color on the knife, I'm going to add a tiniest little bit of highlight here and there on these little rails. And you could also make these rails using your liner brush. That'd work. Tell you what, little top on those. I'm just using a little touch of permanent red here. Do 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 do. There we go. Now we're back to our brown, and we'll put some rails coming right up through here. Touch, touch. There they go. Just, as I say, this old farmer, he just used whatever he could find laying around, limbs and sticks and trees that fell down in his backyard. You use what nature gives you, and nature gives you everything you need. See there it comes. And when you're at home, maybe you want 3 rails on your fence, or 4, or maybe half of them fell off. You have to make these decisions. And that's what makes it fun. It's because it's your world. You create what you want. Now then, a little highlight up here on these rails. But you can see how this little fence adds a lot of depth to the painting, changes your whole perspective, and it's really a lot of fun. Gives you a lot of practice with this almighty knife. Tell you what, let's go back into our big brush, get a little more of this tallow color, and we'll just put some little grassy things. This is yellow. Add a little yellow ochre. And all we're going to do here is just touch and let these little things happen. Like so. See, we got our little path now. You need to bring some grassy areas right on down into your path. Cover up the foots of these. If you pick up a little of that dark, it's fine. I'm going to take a liner brush, a little paint thinner, go right into some brown paint. And here and there, you know, you never get the grass cut good around the bottom of the fence, so there's always weeds here and there. Wherever you want them. Just grab, lift up. Tell you what, let's take a little bit of thin oil, a little permanent red, sign this one, and call it finished. I really hope you've enjoyed this one and it's sparked your imagination and you've got your canvas out and you're ready to go. And with that, we wish you happy painting. God bless.